Hey everyone, hope you liked the B-roll of me going to Boston. It was a little fun project that I wanted to try out before I start talking about the usual stuff. If you found yourself enjoying content like that, please let me know in the comments below and I'll make sure to keep adding them in throughout the rest of my new videos. But more importantly, boy, do I have a great tip for you. This is a trick or a tip that I use every day and something I challenge my junior developers to try when they first start to familiarize themselves with our current code base. Before I start, I have to do this. If this is your first time on my channel, hi, my name is Alex and I am a senior software engineer based in New York City. I graduated from a coding bootcamp back in 2015 and now, on top of working full-time, I like to share tips and tricks on my channel to help you become better software engineers. If you find videos like these helpful, I highly recommend you to hit that like and subscribe so you can stay up to date whenever I post. Now let's move on to that one little secret trick. The problem that I see with a lot of new developers is they code with a lack of patience. This lack of patience leads to a really bad habit. And one of the biggest bad habits I notice with new developers is they code by using the shotgun approach. If you're not familiar with the shotgun approach, imagine shooting a shotgun and the bullet coming out of the barrel. When that bullet comes out of the barrel, the bullet shatters into multiple pieces. The reason behind why that happens is that once it hits the target, it doesn't really hit an isolated point of the target, but spreads around the target area. This ensures the shooter that you're going to hit the general area of the target area, but it doesn't ensure precision. In coding, a shotgun approach is trying out multiple different ways to solve a problem, hoping that one will stick. Inherently, there's nothing wrong with trying out different approaches to a problem from various different viewpoints. But my biggest problem with junior developers is that they're not thinking and there's no rhyme or reason behind why they do what they do. New developers, without realizing it, tend to avoid the thinking process when approaching a solution. And this is really bad because it really hinders your growth as a software developer and it wastes so much time. A perfect example of coding without thinking is going on Google or Stack Overflow and just copying and pasting the code. You're able to search correctly and find a possible solution, but you don't even realize, hey, does this work with my specific situation? Are there edge cases that I didn't consider? And you may find yourself copying and pasting a solution only to know that it actually kind of works, but doesn't actually work. At this point, copying and pasting or just trying out a bunch of different solutions, hoping that one will stick, is super counterintuitive. You need to figure out a way to make deliberate choices in your code, and I'll tell you my secret on how I avoid the shotgun approach. It really is simple, and I'll just tell you right now, it's super easy. I just talk to myself. What? Crazy as that sounds, I'm constantly talking to myself when I'm trying to solve a problem. If I come up with a solution, I tell myself why I'm doing what I'm doing and the potential pitfalls if I decide to run with the solution. There are even times where I know my solution won't actually fix the problem the whole way. Maybe it'll reach a halfway point. But because I'm thinking about, I know I need to stop at this point and reevaluate, I make that conscious decision to keep going with it. So in other words, I try to hit these little milestones in terms of trying to solve my problem. By talking to myself before I'm coding, I'm creating logical reasons for why I'm coming up with the solutions that I'm doing. There are moments where I just am talking to myself constantly nonstop. For example, I would say, if I run this function, it should console log out these variables. If the variables are console logging out properly, then I know I'm in a step towards the right direction. If the variables are not logging out properly, then maybe I need to take a step back and really reevaluate what is going wrong. Like, why are my variables not reaching to this function properly? These are the little steps that you must do to constantly talk to yourself and figure out why you're running into a bug or why you're running into a problem. A lot of new developers, I noticed that they always try to solve a problem with some one gigantic solution or one aha moment. But being able to break down your code into smaller chunks and trying to verbalize each small chunk to help you understand the actual issue is what makes you a better problem solver and a better software engineer. Being a software engineer is not about closing your eyes and hoping that one will kind of stick. We're supposed to be problem solvers at the end of the day, and really with coding, there's no such thing as a one solution fits all. Some people like to verbalize, some people like to think in their thoughts before coming up with a solution, but what I really want to emphasize here is that you need to really think before you code Don't just run to Stack Overflow. Don't just run to Google. Yes, it's good to be able to know how to look for solutions, but at the end of the day, you need to really come up with your own solutions to your unique problems. I'm not trying to flex, but I really don't actually use Stack Overflow that much for solving my code problems within our applications. I generally use Stack Overflow whenever I have like NPM issues or some configuration issues within my application, but generally when I'm trying to actually solve bugs or create new features, I never really use Stack Overflow because a lot of times the situation isn't really relevant to what I need to do. Generally, a lot of the solutions that people come up with at work is their own unique solution. And that's the beauty of being a software engineer. You can really come up with your own solutions. Avoid the shotgun approach and maybe really consider verbalizing your code. Being able to explain your thoughts and more importantly, your code to other people will make you significantly a better software engineer. So just to recap, you need to be able to explain your solution. Remember, back in school, we were always, having to show our solution. We can't just come up with the answer. Otherwise, the teacher will suspect you of cheating. Likewise, in coding, it may seem awkward to explain your code, especially when you don't have coworkers next to you. But don't worry, no one's listening. You could just practice and practice and practice. And by being able to talk to yourself, you can even ask yourself questions like, why am I actually doing this? Is this the smart approach? Is there any other ways that I should consider before doing this option A? This idea of breaking down into smaller solutions and talking to yourself will really reduce the pressure of you having to come up with this magic solution. There's no such thing as a magic solution. You're just learning how to use your problem solving skills to really solve the problem or solve the bug or come up with a new feature. I want to hear from you. Did you find this tip useful? Let me know if you verbalize your code or you think in your thoughts or any other strategies you use to really dissect the problems down. Either way, I'll see you in the next video. TechRally out. Bye.